Another thing you may want to know about your Mac is how storage is being used. So this is in a new place in macOS Ventura. Previously you would go to About This Mac and you would navigate through there to get to it. Now you can just go to System Settings and then General and then go to Storage. And then here you'll see a chart at the top that gives you information about how the drive in your Mac is being used. Note that it changes over time. So you want to wait for it to all settle. At first it gives a large portion to system data here, but you'll see how that changes as it analyzes what's there. You can see a large portion of system data is actually other users. Of course, this is a special account I use on this Mac for recording tutorials. So my other user is my main account on this Mac, and that is using way more data than the current account. And then you'll find other things like how much is being used by apps, documents, and others. Keep in mind these are categories here. These aren't locations. There isn't a location that contains, say, all of your documents. You may have them spread out in several different places. There isn't a single location, for instance, for system data. System data is a variety of different things. So it's like categorizing things. Imagine in your house if you categorized what you had in your house as furniture, clothing, books, food, and such. You wouldn't expect to find all of the furniture in one room or all of the books in another room. So if you find that you're almost completely full of storage, categories are only so useful. But instead there is a lot you can do if you look further down here, and you could find other ways to deal with a almost full drive. For instance, here under Applications you can click I and you can see applications and you can sort by size here. You can see which ones take up the most space and even remove applications from here. So if there's an application that's using a lot of space and you're not using it anymore, or you may not use it for a long time, you may want to delete it now to get back space. The same for other things in here. For instance, under Developer I can see there's caches used by Xcode. I could clear those out now. They'd be regenerated anyway as I'm using Xcode, and I could save 5 gigs of space. For Documents it's going to give me a list of the largest files that I've got. Also lists of downloaded files, apps that are unsupported, and a full file browser that will show me not only my local documents but iCloud cached documents, so I can very easily navigate around and see what's using the most space. You can look through these other categories as well. For instance, for messages you can see which messages have attachments that are using a lot of space and select and delete them if you want. And the same thing for other apps like podcasts. I can see which stored podcasts are using a lot of space and clear them out right from here if I want. I don't need to go to the app unless I want to. So this is a very useful tool, the storage section of System Settings, for clearing out your Mac to make more space on your drive. Of course you can only do so much. If you really have it filled up with applications and documents that you need and you've run out of space, then it's an indication that your next Mac should probably have a larger internal drive. Until then, the best you can do is perhaps get an external drive and archive some of the files you may not need right at this moment to make some space temporarily or in the long run if those files are things that you don't want to delete. But putting them on an archive drive is a more proper place than always having them with you on the internal drive.